Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint an adorable little wren on some foxglove flowers. I think this will be a really fun one. I've been wanting to paint foxgloves for a while, and it's like one of those flowers we haven't done yet. So here we go. Got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, buddy.
He's going to chat during our live show tonight, so if you can ask questions, and we'll try to answer. Let's get started. All right, so I'm using a little bit longer canvas today. This is an 8 by 16 inch size, so we can get the full, effect of this tall flower on here. And I've painted my canvas with a dark gray. It's ultramarine blue and burnt umber in equal parts. You could use any dark color that you wanted to really. Just pick a color that's already in your palette, and that way it'll kind of go, you'll know that for sure it'll go with the rest of the colors. So you could do a dark teal like with phthalo blue and burnt sienna maybe, or something like that, because we'll be using those colors. But anyhow, any of those colors will work. Even just a straight up black would be good, or if you prefer a lighter color, you could do unbleached titanium would look really nice behind this. I wanted kind of the dark color because I think it'll really make everything kind of pop off the canvas, and I didn't want to have to worry about the background because we've got a lot to do tonight. So as for brushes, I'm picking some kind of thinner long type brushes. So I've got some flats in various sizes here, and then a couple filberts in various sizes, and then a couple of rounds in various sizes, and an angle brush, and some blenders, and a liner. So I think those should get us through most of what we're going to be doing tonight. I like the little round brushes for the bird feathers, though. They make a good bird feather. So I have my favorite brushes listed down in the description, but I'll mention these as I use them tonight. These are all Princeton brushes. But I don't want to list them all right now because we got lots to do tonight. Okay, let's go over colors. Carbon black, burnt umber. Is that crooked? Let me see if I can. No, I guess that's just the way the camera is. All right, carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow light, phthalo green yellow shade, phthalo blue green shade, ultramarine blue, quinacridone magenta. That's going to be our main flower color. And unbleached titanium, titanium white, and gloss glazing liquid. All right. Everything looks like it's slanted because of the camera angle here. I had to move it so far away. It's kind of angling everything off into nothing. I didn't do a very good job with my paint job, so I may have to touch up this background here some. So I might get a little bit bigger brush to do that with. Yeah, we'll grab this one. But we'll go ahead and sketch out our main flower and kind of generally where we're going to put things, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to kind of offset it just slightly to this side so that we have room for our bird here. So just kind of slightly to one side and down off the canvas. Not quite going all the way to the top. And the top, we're going to do these little buds that are at the very top. And our photograph didn't have these, so I kind of wanted to add them. And then they start to kind of come off the side and down. And then fairly quickly, I want to start in with the bigger flowers, though, because I want my bird to be sort of in here, I think. Or we can move him down here, but I think I want him kind of up in this area. So he's going to be right here. Kind of that shape for the head, and then round out. I have an adorable photo. Oh shoot, I forgot to download it to the computer. We have a little Carolina Wren like this guy who likes to sleep in our umbrella at night.
He's still doing it?
Spencer said he was doing it the other night. I didn't notice him lately, but he did it for a good at least a week he was tucking himself to bed up in our umbrella. The house is so cute. That we have on our back porch, yeah. So I don't want that to look like he's sipping from that flower. That's not what we're going after. So just maybe something like that. And we can do a leaf out here. And then do some of the larger flowers starting over here, and I'll do one right here, kind of overlapping him just a little bit, and then out. And they just tuck themselves in to one another. They're like just a little tube shape, so little tube. They've got a little hat that attaches to this main stem, which is a little bit thicker than I've made it, so let's widen that out toward the bottom there a little bit. And then so they kind of do this triangular shape, and then the top part is open and does like a diamond shape or so. I'm going to do a nice big one here, right there. And just vary up the shapes here. Some of them are facing out, so you're seeing more the side profile. I might do another one right here. Something like that. Or maybe this one's right here. And then just trying to make it look natural, and maybe like one coming out right here. Whoop, not that far. And then just some leaves. Okay, that looks pretty good. I might add another one right here. We'll see. I can tuck one in there, but you can see it's pretty with black and white, actually.
And we're done.
In another
Great
session,
show tonight.
we can do one in black and white. Not too bad, actually. All right, so there we go. So there's kind of our start. Let me get, I'm going to make up a little bit more of this dark belt background color here. Ultramarine blue and burnt umber, equal parts. I'm just going to kind of fill in that. And any other like little bits that seem a little bit unfinished. This is where you could introduce another color too if you wanted to. Like, you know, say we wanted to add, maybe we'll add a little teal. Get some of the green and the phthalo blue, phthalo green, phthalo blue, and some burnt sienna and add it to my mixture. And maybe we'll just dab in a little bit of that color back here. It's going to be so dark, it's not going to show up that much, but it'll give a little bit more interest to that background color. Give it a little bit more going on than just straight black or brown, gray, whatever color this is. It's kind of a little bit of all of it. Depending on how much blue you add, it looks a little bit more of like a blue gray, and then if you add more of the burnt umber, it looks more brown, brownish gray. It's a really nice gray, very versatile. You just have to, I'm using golden heavy body acrylics, and golden brown burnt umber is a lot more brown, like true brown, than some burnt siennas are a little bit more purple leaning. So when you mix the blue with them, they don't get this gray, they turn like a dark purple. So just kind of, if you're having trouble with that, you can try using black with the ultramarine blue instead, or something like that, just to get that kind of true gray color. All right, that looks good. kind of wish he was a little bit more on the third. He's kind of right almost in the middle, but he is in the middle. That's all right. I feel like it would unbalance it a little bit. I might move him up just slightly, but can't really fit him up much higher without changing up the way this is. I mean, I might be able to put him right here. What do you think, hun?
I think the
Might
square
try
root of the
that.
hypotenuse.
You're not, you don't have an opinion. No.
Well, how many hand lengths down is it? The golden rule is 2 1/4.
I might put him down here.
Double Wrens, what does it mean? Hey, we got a question about color gun.
Sorry, I'm just moving him up so he's kind of more on the third here instead of
Whoa, where did that go? Way off the
way off the side.
Okay, well, that's not working very well.
Okay. What's
The question says they went to buy some cad red, and all they had at the store was non-cadmium.
Okay.
So is it okay? Is it interchangeable?
Yeah, I mean it'll be different, but it'll be close. You know, they'll just doesn't have the. It just won't hurt you if you eat it. So.
It's not toxic
Right.
or as toxic.
Not as toxic. Yep.
Got it.
So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend eating any acrylic paints. So, I don't know who these people are that are doing that, but well, you know, I also don't like to get cadmiums on my skin, too. You know, because of that. So I try to wash them off pretty. You know, you do want to be smart. You know. All right, so somewhere in there, I feel like I made his head too big this time in this one. Okay, sorry. He's just very sleek. It's like a little arrow. The beak comes and the eye is right in line with that line. Okay. That'll be, I think we'll move that piece up right there. I can't tell what any of that I drew is anymore, so we'll just start painting and hope for the best. All right, let me just want to get a brush that I can do that whole long stem with. So I'm going to get my green, phthalo green, and some yellow oxide, I think. And then maybe a little bit more, and some burnt umber. Might even add a little bit of magenta to it. Oh, that's a nice color. Okay. So I'll have both of these to kind of play with. Mix up a third color here. Okay. So just start at the top. Try not to touch my wet paint over there. Keep it thin, and then as I come down, I'm just going to press a little bit harder each time. You can see I'm not trying to go all the way down with one long brush stroke, just kind of tapping. They get pretty wide here. There we go. Coming along. Now this time I'm going to maybe dab along the side. Maybe get a little bit of unbleached titanium. Maybe a little bit of yellow just to brighten it up a little bit. And now this time I'm gonna kind of be a little bit more careful and just kind of tap along that edge. I've got some sunlight hitting it on the side there. Some flowers are going to go on top of this, and it's kind of slightly fuzzy too, so just kind of tapping to get a little bit of that look and get a little bit of white. Do the same thing on this side. Just trying to come as close to the edge as I can. There you go. Okay. And I'm just gonna kind of lightly, that green in the middle is dry now, so I'm gonna maybe get a little bit of that darkish mid-tone color and just lighten it up just slightly, kind of add some like little lines through it, get a little bit of that darker color again. Okay, that looks good enough. And then let's go ahead and put in our little seed pods at the top. I'm going to use this flat brush. This is the 2 flat from Princeton 6100 series. One of my favorite brushes. So just dabbing, using the corner of that brush, dab, 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 turning it to get them to kind of come off in different directions. Get a little bit more, and then they're going to start to have some flower buds at the top, but I'm going to come out and then press. Come out and then press. Like that. And I think that's plenty big for that. There's one kind of right here that's coming down at us, and then they start to kind of split off and come down. Not seeing too much of the green part, but I'll go ahead and kind of mark where I think those flowers are going to start, and then we may end up painting over this, but at least these will be there. And then let's do one that's coming out. So they kind of come up and over, just a little bit, these bigger ones. And then you just see this kind of thing like that. I don't know if you're seeing this at all, but like a little hat. Let's go ahead and put a leaf up here. Okay. So there's one there. There's going to be one here. Maybe this one is attached over here. And I think I wanted one right here, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna just do a little beginning of one. Could probably do a bud right there. Okay. And then do another one right here. And we'll perfect these a little bit later. They don't have to make sense right now. I'm just kind of trying to get a groundwork for later flowers. Up and over, and then just a little party hat. Okay. This one maybe we'll do right here. And we had one coming down here that he's standing on. Flower, here. Come down over here. Again, just trying to think about where these would be coming out to be able to attach. Some of these are just hidden behind, like this one's going to be hidden. This one might leave that one out. Let's do this one here. I'm going to move this one up a little bit. Make it a little bit more yellow. And then down here, there's little leaves too that are kind of in, all kind of peppered in here. So some of these little leaves might be coming out. They're kind of thin and trail off. Okay, we'll see. We can add more later if we need to, but that'll get us kind of a head start. Let's go ahead and start putting in our kind of like, it's like a ivory. I think I'm going to mix up a good amount of this color because I'm going to use it on the flowers. So let's go ahead and get a pretty good amount of unbleached titanium and white. We'll start with those two, kind of almost 50-50. And then add just a little bit of the yellow oxide and a little bit of the cadmium yellow light. I think I wanted a little bit more green yellow than that, so I'm going to add a little bit more of that cadmium yellow light. But, oops, got a little bit green, but that's okay. I did want it slightly green. Okay, that's nice. Now this is kind of going to be our base cream color, and we're going to add white to it because this is even too dark. I think adding some, again, a pretty good amount of white, and I'm just going to use kind of what's in my palette knife and create that off-white that I want. It's just like, you could probably use unbleached titanium and be fine, but I wanted it a little bit more of a slightly green tone. So I think this will work. Okay. And then I think I'm going to use some of this and mix in my magenta. So pretty good, almost 50-50 there. Mix those two together. And I think I wanted a little bit more purpley, so I'm going to get a little bit of the Ultramarine Blue, just a little bit. Okay, that's nice. Kind of a violet. The yellow in there is going to counteract that purple and make it a little bit more of a neutral, slightly neutral, not too neutral though. I didn't use very much of it. scooping off that color. It kind of works its way up and you can't get it off the palette knife after a while. Alright, so that's a nice kind of muted magenta color. And then I'll use a little bit more of just the straight up magenta with what's left on my brush here, or brush palette knife here, and a little bit of the Ultramarine Blue. Just create a darker violet for our darkest parts of the flower. Hopefully this will be enough. We'll see. May have to mix this again if I didn't make enough, but okay. So when you're mixing up colors, you want to scrape it up and get it into the smallest area possible on your palette so that it stays wet longer. Make sure you're spraying your palette really well, and don't let those dry out. Get some more white. Already used it all up. Everything else looks okay. Well, let's get going here on the flowers. So that one, this brush was doing a pretty good job for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick with it until it doesn't anymore, you know. It's kind of how I pick my brushes, just kind of get the biggest brush that'll fit and, you know, fit what I'm trying to do, and then switch it out once it doesn't work for me anymore. It's really not that hard. Complicated. There's no magic solution. You still gotta paint it. Brush is just a tool, so. Alright, I'm going to use this. I've loaded it up with a little bit of both of these two lighter yellow colors that we mixed, and I'm just going to dab it on top, and using that corner so that I'm getting kind of partial down here. Just setting the brush down. Can kind of do a couple swoops like that. I'm trying to keep them fairly random too, so that I'm not repeating what I'm doing too much. I'm gonna get a little bit of that green and just go across some of those. They've got like a little bud of green there at the very tip. Okay, go back to the yellow, light yellow, and and then I think this will be the last one here. Maybe I'm going to move this one to kind of overlap this a little bit more right here, just so it's not competing for the bird space with our bird too much. And then this one will be maybe our first, like, it's opening, so we'll kind of let it be starting to open right there, and I'm going to get a little bit of this magenta and a little bit of the green and use that in the center here just to gray it out. Okay. This one is also maybe opening. Okay, there. All right, that looks good. I might bring this out a little bit, or maybe over here. Like I started to do it right there. Let's bring this out slightly over here and do another one that's kind of tucked up right here. Just so it doesn't look so all buttoned up. Get a little bit of white. Put that white right there, leaving that darker part underneath. This is going to take a couple coats to get these to cover this black, probably. So far it's looking all right. I'm trying to do this in the most simplified way possible for y'all so that it's not too complicated. I think this could get real tricky, you know, but I think if we do it in with brush strokes, and just try to kind of get it in as close as we can to our finished flower in our first few brush strokes, we should keep it fairly simple, I think. And some of these actually are pretty dark as they come down overlapped, so we might want to do that. And I might do one right here. It's sort of in front right here. Although there is some space in our picture. I don't need to crowd them all out. I want to fill up every space with all the flowers, but I need to remind myself not to do that sometimes. Okay, so let's do this one that's kind of next to our bird here. I'm going to use the magenta for that. And I'm going to start in right there. And bring it down. Probably doesn't need to go down that far. And then get my lighter color and do the inside of the opening. And then there's a really light white lip that comes up right here. Okay, I'm going to bring it out a little bit more over the top of that. Get a little bit more of that magenta. Just highlight that. Okay, we'll let that set, dry. It's going to take a couple of coats to get it kind of the colors we want, but I think we're on the right track there. I'm going to get a little bit darker right there. So then right here we'll have one. I'm going to get a little bit of the magenta and go nice and dark right there. And then get the yellow on the inside. Mixed up a little bit of magenta with it. down here getting more white. So it's got a lot of different colors going on, but I'm just kind of putting this all in wet so that they sort of blend together. And then we can come back in and refine it later. I think that's pretty good. Let's do this one kind of pointing out this way. Some white. It's got the light shining through it. Like that. And it kind of comes down like this. Just looking at the shapes instead of trying not to think about it as a flower. You know, you're just kind of trying to psych out your brain here, because your brain will be like telling you how it's supposed to look. We don't want to listen to that. We want to just see the flower and paint what we're seeing. Ignore all the thoughts from our brain that's telling us that that's not what a flower looks like, or that it, you know, should be more whatever. Okay, that's looking good. I feel like I'm gonna want one right here, or I might make this one bigger. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just make this one a little bit bigger, make it start to turn pink right there. Down a bit farther. Yeah, that'll work. Same thing for this one. Okay. Now my yellow, or my purple, magenta color and my green are going to make really nice shadow colors for me. I might add a little bit of burnt umber too. So just use that magenta color and added a little bit of the green and the burnt umber. Give me some shadow colors for the inside of my flowers. Okay. Let's keep on going here. Darker color and then the lighter color coming up around.
So what do you have going on later this month?
Oh, are you queuing up my Etsy talk here?
I'm just
You
wondering.
throwing a love.
I was just wondering,
Self-love.
curious, what's going on?
Getting some yellow oxide here with my my unbleached titanium. I am going to be doing my first sale in 3 years. I checked and it's been 3 years. I know, I can't believe it's been that long, but At least that's from my records. I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate, but I'm going to use this orangey color for the inside tongues here. Some of these. Yeah, so we're doing a big sale. It'll only last a week, and it'll be later on this month.
How long?
10 days.
10 days.
10 days.
Nice.
Yeah, be good. Be good to get rid of some of our inventory. It's literally taken over our side room and help pay for our trip to England.
There you go. A win-win-win
Yeah.
for everybody.
Exactly. And I've had people asking to buy paintings in this last year especially. I've had a few specialty paintings that I've done that I just haven't done a sale, you know. It's just, it takes a lot and it's a lot of work, so mostly been busy doing other things,
But unfortunately, the tank painting will not be part of the sale.
no, will not. I know there's going to be some disappointed people.
There's going to be a lot of disappointed people. Like, you might need 2 hands to count.
What? Do what?
You might need 2 hands to count how many
2 hands
people.
to count.
Maybe.
Has somebody been asking about it?
Well, I think they know better.
Yeah, they know.
I mean, there's some things you can't buy. Like,
There's some paintings that are just too precious.
yeah, like, okay, you got like the Mona Lisa, and then you get the tank painting.
I don't know about that, but
Okay, maybe not in that order.
how much would you sell that for? If you got offered the right amount of money, I guarantee you would fold.
It might have to start with a B.
A B.
You painted it for me.
That's true.
It's but it's still my second favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to do that painting actually.
Well, you did something once years ago, but it
Yeah.
wasn't quite like it.
There's a tree painting in our studio that Mark really likes. That was a lot of work, though. It's got a lot of brush strokes in it.
Mm-hmm. That's
Very impressionist style.
very nice.
It is pretty. It's just a lot of work. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that was a lot of work. I don't want to do that again. My hand get tired. Okay, so I'm trying to decide how to overlap these. I'm obviously not going by the picture. But I mean, if you've got the structure of the flower, you can pretty much move things around however you want. That's what I'm doing. Just to try to add the little bird that wasn't part of the original photo. I might add one in here. I've got it sketched in there, but we'll see. All right, so getting some, get some of this yellowish color here. This one's going to be kind of more sideways, so use that yellowish color in the neck, or the throat, I should say, and then some of that lighter color, the lighter yellow. Just using the edge of that brush to kind of draw in those thin lines there. Is Noah watching today? I know they were saying they were going to watch.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in chat, so I don't know.
Alright, so I don't want these two to look too much alike, so I might change them up a little bit. But I was kind of looking looking at both of them. Now I'm realizing that might not have been what we want to do. Getting a little bit of white there. So I need to leave these alone and let them dry. I'm wanting to finish them, and I need to just let them do their thing, dry, and then we'll finish them here in a little bit. This one. If we keep it random too, I'm telling this to myself as much as you guys, you know, if you keep it random, then it looks more realistic too, because the real flower is not going to be perfect. So a little bit more yellow right here. Oops, I don't know why I picked it up. More the white, light yellow. That. Do a couple more. Maybe this one's coming out this way. Maybe there's one tucked up under there. Okay, get some of that medium magenta here. Can I add some of that in streaks? I'm going over the top of this green, so you will have to repaint some of the green, but I'm not worried about it. I definitely do think I need another one right there. And probably right here too. Okay, getting some of that yellow. Let me get some of that darker purpley color. Hi, puppy. Hopefully, what you doing?
Spencer left.
Oh man. Guess you gotta come in here with us. Okay. Just getting some of that warmer orangey color for the inside of the throat there. Sorry. All right, so some of this light yellow here. Go up higher, come down, wiggle. Bring this up higher than the opening. Up like that.
I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
The person is painting on gesso board,
Okay.
and they're finding it's hard or difficult to blend.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
You know, it's probably just sucking the moisture out of your paints. I find that happens on paper too. It's probably just the, you know, the particle board that it's painted on, even though it's sealed with gesso. It's probably sucking out the moisture. So I would just use more water with your paint and see if that helps. You can also try maybe, you know, adding a coat or two of gesso before you start to see if that helps. I'm using this darker magenta here and just painting in the insides of these. Mostly kind of around the outer opening, kind of a U shape. Sort of shading. Where that color's peeking out. I'm not worried about it blending right now. I'm just kind of trying to dab in some color here, so we'll blend everything at the end. I think I'm gonna maybe add another one right here. See, once I get this all on, I'm gonna take off all my chalk marks, and then I can tell kind of what I like and don't like. We'll let this dry too and work on our bird, and then come back to this, finish it up. The freckles will be the part that really makes this come to life.
What was the dimensions of our canvas again tonight?
8 by 16.
Okay.
Okay, oops, didn't get this one. Okay, so let's figure out what we want to do with this one. Maybe it's just kind of facing ourselves a little bit more. And then it helps to go outside. You know, you've got the little cone shape here, and going outside that on either side is, I think, critical to get the right look. Up here it's not. They're kind of more in line. They haven't opened up yet fully, but these ones here that are mature, they definitely need to be opened outside the borders of that. Of that central cone. Okay. That's a pretty good. I definitely think I need maybe one, maybe two more, but I'm gonna let that dry for a minute. We'll work on our bird and then I'll erase everything and see where we're at for finishing touches. All right, I think I'm gonna switch to, well, this one's doing okay, so I guess I'll stick with this brush. I'm gonna spray these down though so they don't dry out on me while I'm working on my bird. I think it's kind of a yellow oxide and unbleached titanium kind of base coat color for the belly. And I think I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller than I've drawn it here. I think I drew it a little too long. They're really tiny little birds. I've caught one once because it got caught on our, we had a bug glue trap set out, and I didn't even think about birds. Like he hops around our plants all the time, and he got caught in it, and I had to carefully peel his wings off of this glue trap. He was fine. He flew away. But he fit, he's just a tiny little thing. So I'm thinking.
And they can make some noise.
Yeah. Yes, they can. All right, so I'm going to kind of do what I'm seeing in the body. I think like that size there. For the belly. Bring it up. And then the head kind of is like almost just like a little slight lump. I want to show the colors. Okay, get ready. This is super cute.
Oh, yeah.
That's him. He's snug. He's just in our umbrella there. Look at his colors, though. You can see there's his eye. He just kind of just tucked his little face up in the fold of the umbrella.
He just hangs around all night.
And just was hanging there all night. Around 8 p.m. once the sun started going down, just tucked himself right up in there. I thought it was a squirrel caught in there, honestly, at first, because from my back porch you couldn't really tell what it was. It looked like a squirrel tail because he was so fluffed out, So I thought an animal had gotten up in there and it just like had its little tail sticking out. But then when I got closer and checked, I was like, what the heck? And like I said, he did it every night for at least a week, if not longer. But look at those stripies on his.
He's a baby.
Yeah, he got it fluffed. He was all fluffed out too, to protect. But
Probably got kicked out of the house by mom and dad. Said,
probably.
You're too old to be living at home. Get out.
This is his temporary apartment.
Yep.
So, hey, it worked. I just don't know how he could fall asleep. Like, they must just like clamp their feet closed in their sleep and not, like it must be a thing where they don't have to actively be gripping. Getting a little bit of white and adding it to this color here. I'm gonna kind of do the face right in here, I think. So I'm just making them a little bit smaller. And using the edge of the brush to kind of pull down some feathers. Okay. Let's do the other side of his body. Yeah, so when I was trying to find a little bird to add to this, I was like, oh, I need to paint these guys. I've never painted one. He's so cute. They're just sweet little birds. Not nearly as afraid of people as they should be. They're not afraid at all. Hardly. Okay, so this is beak area right here. I'm gonna have the beak coming out like that. It's really hard to see with this chalk all in the way. You can always make the head bigger, but I don't want to make it too big too soon, so I'm gonna be conservative with it at first, and then we can widen it out if we need to. All right, so there's kind of an angle here where the head is, and then the body sort of comes out a little bit and makes sort of an egg shape right here. So it's not too big. Then the wing overlaps it just slightly, so it's kind of a wing, egg shape with the pointy wing coming out. So I think somewhere in there be about right. Getting a little bit of burnt umber here. This is burnt sienna, and I think this yellow color that I had mixed up earlier. And then the tail is almost straight in line with the beak. So wherever you're doing the beak, just kind of, and this part is generally about from the back of the head to the rump and from the rump to the tail. And really, like, I'm counting the rump being sort of in from where those wings end, just slightly, because that tail is touching this part here. The wing is overlapping it. So somewhere in there, that was the head. So I think we're about right in there somewhere. I find one of the things that people don't do is make the tails long enough on birds when they're doing them. Sometimes, not always. All right. Let's see. I think let's get some dark burnt umber here and do some dark under there. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, and sometimes, very rarely, people forget to put their feet on too.
Who would do that? That's so weird.
I know.
So random.
Good thing, You
have people to remind them
exactly.
to put the feet on the bird. I did that once.
Yeah.
And I never lived it down now.
Because, you make so few mistakes. I got to latch on to something.
Yeah. That's not true, but thank you for saying that. All right. I'm going to widen that out just slightly. And then they've got that white little line from the beak. I'm just going to tap. Tap. Like that. All around the face there. Bring it up to this a little bit more. And then this rounds out slightly, so I'm going to get a little bit of black with my white. And this rounds out underneath the beak there. I'll bring it a little bit wider, and it slightly curves down. All right, we're just going to have to leave that because it's got to dry before we can see where we're at. Let me get my 2 round here. I'm going to put the eye in. And also put some feet, because apparently they have feet. Blah, 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 feet. All right, fine.
I mean, they don't use them all the time.
Oh, right in here somewhere.
It would have been difficult to
Getting some white.
sleep on the umbrella if they didn't.
True. Yeah, how would they attach themselves at night to
Exactly.
sleep?
Maybe if they were made of Velcro. they
Oh,
could do
you
it.
know what? They come back here this way. I don't know what I was seeing there. That was the branch. Okay, so it's not there. The picture that I had a branch coming through, and that's what I was seeing there. But the leg is actually back here, coming forward. And then I'll put something there for him to stand on. And the legs are side by side, so and we can. You probably could have one leg coming down this way, if I thought about it. Let me do that. I'll do one leg kind of coming back this way, and one leg up here. Does that look funky? I probably need a picture. Can you try to find me a picture of a bird with its legs split? Thank you. We'll leave the feet off for now. Clean up our... How are we doing on time? Oh, not bad. All right. Okay, so let me make sure this is all dry. He's mostly dry. I'm going to try to stay away from him as much as I can, but I'll wipe down all of this. This is just water. Yeah, but a little bit longer, like he's splayed out between two things, you know. It doesn't have to be him, just a bird, you know, like a small sparrow or something. Or, you know, feet.
There's a little bit of this.
Kind of. Yeah, just keep looking. Look at the picture and try to, I want them like this, kind of like, you know, like one kind of brace. Mark is laughing at me because I'm like going like this. Shut up. Kind of like this. Like one reach in here. As a bird. Shush. Okay, well, I was not even on camera that whole time.
Yeah, you were.
No, I wasn't. Or did you just zoom back in? No, I was just wiping this whole down and it was off camera the whole time.
Oh, but you were zoomed in and painting the bird.
Yes, I was. All right, so there we're at. You know, there is something to be said for the tension that happens when you do not have something somewhere, because then you feel the loss of it. Like you're kind of like, why is there not a blossom there? I feel like that here and here. So if we put it, then it'll be like full. And maybe we'll miss having that. I don't know. I feel like I could definitely add one more right here, maybe. One here. And one kind of tucked up right there. But I like it without it too, so I think I'm gonna leave it. It's a Tuesday night. If I try to paint more in, then we're gonna be here forever. So let's do this. I'm gonna get some green going. Start with that. Get some, I started out with my 2 yellows, adding a little bit of the green and a little bit of the burnt sienna. Okay, so kind of an olive toned, almost green gold color here, and adding some white. Whenever I mix green and I add white, I always like to add yellow because the yellow counteracts the dullness of the white. The white just dulls that green right down, so turns it into like a mint, you know, color. So I need some darker green too. Get some burnt sienna with my green and phthalo blue, and maybe a little bit of burnt umber too. I don't remember what my original colors were that I was using, but it doesn't have to match exactly. We're just gonna be adding some detail. Now I'm going back over my pinks a little bit with this. And some white. Need some nice dark green right where it tucks up underneath. Might even get a little bit of black with my green. And just right where it tucks up underneath the flower, it needs to be dark. Where the flower attaches to it. Just adding a little bit of that really dark green. Literally just dabbing to get that in there. Alright, let me just try, I'll just draw it with, I'll try drawing it. So the legs are coming out. Okay, that should work. But it's kind of not from the side. This one is more what I had in mind right here. If I can get it to flip. Nope.
It's not a Samsung.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So there, kind of right back here. And then forward. And then he's attaching.
Our special guest has arrived.
Noah, you watching Gigi paint?
It looks like it.
I'm painting a bird. It's one of her favorite things. I think that'll work. Thank you, hon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Getting some burnt sienna. A little bit of that burnt umber. I'm gonna kind of tap in right there, darken up around the eye a little bit. We can zoom back in, I guess, for this part. I'll go ahead and try to get the bird finished out.
She says hello.
Hi. Gonna come see you in a couple days for 4th of July.
Staying up past her bedtime to watch you paint.
Oh. Paint a little bird. A little bit of black for the eye. Let's go and put those legs in. Get a little bit of the unbleached titanium with the black here. And the feet are just a bunch of knobs, you know, they're very 2 front and 1 back, I think. 3 front and 1 back. So they crisscross each other. They have long nails. So we don't have to put all of it in. And what I'll probably do is put the leaf coming up over part of this. So kind of knuckle, and then the nail kind of actually kind of bends forward, but I think that'll be good enough. We'll just dab in like that and let it, the rest of your mind will fill in the blanks. And right here, get a little bit of the darker color and just dab in some darker color where they kind of go in underneath there. Okay, get some black. Do a little bit of the very fine lines with that. Wipe that brush out. Get some of that unbleached titanium and white. I have a pretty good amount on here. I want to be able to just kind of dab in my feathers over the top of this and have it show up. So I put that dark color down there because I realized I didn't have any depth in this area. So just dabbing back over that to blend it in a little bit. And then right here there's just some really bright white right up by the eye. I'm dabbing in fairly thick paint right there. Wipe out that brush and then do a little highlight on the beak. I've pressed that brush so that it's nice like flat blade. I'm just going to use the edge of it to, you can use a liner brush too if you want, if this stresses you out. Just like that, and then let's use it underneath the black of the eye. Go around that eye a little bit. It has that kind of white little dotted whatever, and then little light highlight right there. I'm using the very small touch, and then if you get too much you can always come back over it with a little bit of black. I kind of touch that black. I want a circle of black, so kind of lost my shape a little bit with my highlights. My white highlight was touching the edge of the white border, so I didn't want that to happen. So all right, then getting a little bit of more white here and dabbing a few more of these little feathers here. You can kind of pull down a little bit, give them some little texture. Dab in some of the ones under the eye. And there should be a pretty good amount of dark feathers right in here. I'm going to kind of use that burnt sienna a little bit lighter and add some lighter feathers above on the head. These will dry a little bit darker, so I can go, they'll look a little bit lighter when I'm putting them on, but they'll dry a little bit darker. Getting a little bit of the yellow oxide here and adding that with the burnt sienna. That'll help the burnt sienna be a little bit more opaque too. And just dabbing all across this back to give it some textured feathers. I might get a little bit of yellow unbleached titanium here just so that they show up. And I'm going to do them this way because the round edge of the brush will help create that feather look. I'm just going to pull towards the back. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, I like that. That's working. A little bit of this color blushing right there. A little bit of it under there. Where the legs are attached. Or where he's holding on. And then get a little bit of that black. And I'm just gonna dab across the little stripy bits that I'm seeing. And then we need to add the highlight colors, stripies. So let's get the yellow oxide and the unbleached titanium. Picked up a little bit of that gray, which I don't mind. And I might get a little bit of glaze just so that it's not fully opaque. I want this to be kind of subtle. And he's got these little stripies in his wings coming up this way. Okay. And then right here, there's some little highlights on the little feathers right there. And then this right here, they're more opaque, so I'm going to get more of that yellow. This is yellow oxide and unbleached titanium. And do little lines, just little dashed lines. Like that. Keep kind of faint, dry brushing a little bit there, and then I'm going to do some in the tail. Down the tail. Maybe a little bit of a highlight on the top. A little bit of highlight right here. Just dry brushing very lightly. Getting a little bit of white with this color. And I'm gonna come this way with it and create some texture, fluff out the breast a little bit. Who thought I really didn't think I was going to be saying that sentence today. It's all right. The things I say on YouTube. Okay. Like, what kind of channel is this? That looks pretty good, I think. need it to come down that far. There is like a really dark area here. The only problem is we've got that black background, so anything black that touches the edge is gonna disappear. So I just want a little border of the lighter color there, just so it doesn't disappear entirely into the background. Right, but I'm pretty happy with that. Let me get a little bit of my black and a little bit of glaze, and I'm gonna glaze the legs. This is just to kind of make them, give them a little shadow. All right, that looks good. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Let's finish up our flowers. I do love it on the black. It's got a really dramatic, I like it. I like the look of it. I don't know. But it would look good on a lighter colored background too. You just have to compensate, maybe make these darker. Like if your background was white, these wouldn't show up. So you'd have to compensate your contrast a little bit, make them a little bit darker or something. But I'm gonna do some white here now. So I went through and did dark green. I haven't come back in. This is gonna dry on me, my green that I mixed. But I need to get just some light highlights on some of these. And I want to use some of the color that is in our bird in these flowers too, so I might grab some of this burnt sienna yellow oxide color. I used a little bit of it here in the throats, but just use a little bit more of it in some places so that they kind of integrate with our bird and they look like they're gonna go together. And that's the same idea with that ultramarine blue too. We probably need, you know, we use the ultramarine blue that's in our background color in our flowers too. So whenever I'm picking my background color, I always want to keep that in mind, that I don't want a color that is unique just to the background, because a lot of times it'll just look a little bit off-putting. So you want your colors to all harmonize together. So you use the same colors. You can get a neutral, just about any, you know, any three primary combination will give you a good neutral color. Red, yellow, blue mixed together will give you kind of a brown or a gray depending on the tones of them. And then you can go from there, but you know, for your background, I'm saying, I just used the blue and yellow, blue and burnt umber for mine. But then we used the burnt umber in the bird too, and we used the burnt umber also in our green of our flower stems. So. Right, using some of this darker, I don't even know what colors I was using. I think I used the burnt sienna and that yellow, the magenta here. Just going in and darkening up the openings of our flowers a little bit here and there. And we can add some, I might get a little bit more magenta here with the burnt sienna and burnt umber. Like right here where this one's overlapping, we'll want it darker right there. Not getting as much light. Okay. And you could even use a little bit of the pink in your bird too if you wanted to. You know, you could use some of this light magenta color that we had here. Or even some of our yellow, and just not a lot, but you know, just add a little hint of that color in him to tie him into the flower color too. You can glaze with it, like you could use your magenta and glaze a little magenta on the bird. Again, in moderation, but all of those little tricks will help unify your painting. Make everything look like it's all part of one. Alright, so using the yellow and my magenta here, the light magenta. And I'm just going to look and see where I'm seeing some of this magenta kind of like switch into that darker color. So transition between that darker and the lighter colors. Most of this is looking pretty good. I don't think I'm going to have to do a ton to this to get it to where I need it to be, but there's definitely some areas where I need a little bit more darkness for the light color to just to give them a little bit more depth. I think those inner parts of the flower are darker than they look, even though they're white. They're not really white. They're darker than they seem, I think. Because I think when we put the spots in, once we get everything in there, we're going to realize that they maybe needed to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to get a little bit of that magenta and burnt umber and some glaze and try glazing some of this in, just in some of these areas where I'm seeing the darker color. Yeah, I think we need it. I can use my finger to just kind of help blend it out. Okay, this is going to be good. Can't wait. It's going to be so fun. The little spot's going to make it all come together.
Give it that signature look.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's going to be like, oh yeah. It's already getting there. But it just needs a little bit more contrast here. And I think that will be happy we did this. Trying not to cover over all of my orange color. That's why I'm glazing. Plus, we've got a lot of really nice colors and details here. I don't need to redo the whole thing. I'm just needing to darken up some areas. So this way we can kind of just darken it up without repainting all of this. And just using this glaze, which is just transparent color. That's all glaze is. We can get some nice depth there with our flowers. Okay. A little bit darker right here. I do like the shape of the flowers. They definitely look more natural doing it this way than doing it so that they all line up perfectly, you know? Like it definitely looks like, I think, more realistic this way, even though it kind of bugs me that there's some gaps, but I'm just trying to remember that that's okay.
That's how they grow.
Right, that's how they grow. They're not
They're
perfect.
perfect all the way around.
Right. I mean, you can always do it however you want, though, on yours, so don't feel like you have to do it exactly the same as mine, obviously. This is your... just showing you some options, that's all. Alright, so now coming in with my bright yellow green here. Mixed up some more because I kind of dried out again. And just going over here and adding these highlights to our little caps that are holding our flowers in place. And again, trying to keep them kind of random. I think I was going to put a leaf through his foot there, holding on. Right. This thing there. Something like that. And then he's kind of holding on to this one, the top of this flower. Get that light yellow. Just using the very tip of my brush to barely kind of just tip in some little dabs on these. Get a little bit of that darker green for some of them, and go over the top of some of those so that they're kind of encapsulated there. The little buds have the green coming up around them a little bit. Just little highlights, thinking about where the light's coming from, which is like, I think this direction here, where Some of these would be catching some light. I think might be one of my favorite paintings we've done this year. So far, so good. Really like how it's turning out. Reminds me of like a botanical, like an Audubon type of, like it's giving me that vibe, which I love. I've always loved that style of. Maybe I'm just going to put out some leaves there. I think maybe that would help. Just put out a few leaves. Almost there. What are we doing for time? Oh, we're just fine. Okay. Need to leave ourselves room to do the final little bits on our flowers, but I think we're good.
And then, of course, the finale.
Which is?
We talked about this.
What?
Before the show.
What? Oh, okay. Okay. We have the return of Stickman tonight.
What?
Marcus.
The fans have requested it.
Yes. Yes. Good old Stickman. I'll show you a retrospective and
Oh, yes. For all the newbies.
for all those who have joined us in the last 2 years probably. It's been a couple of years since we've done it.
It's been a bit.
It's been a bit. Okay, using the burnt umber and ultramarine blue here, and I'm just like where I wiped off that chalk mark from the original sketch too. Now it took off some of that black paint, so just dabbing that back in. It's all in here actually, kind of all around the bird. It was looking a little chalky, so. And the nice thing is we sort of messed up the background. It's not a solid color, so we can do this and not really worry about. And if you're worried about it, you can do like this and just kind of put it in a few other places in the painting, and then it looks like you meant to do it all along. So it's so dark though, we're not going to really be able to see it, but it was bugging me. All right, so let's get our white. So first thing we want to do is just do our final highlights on our flowers. So getting the white and turning my brush to a point here, and I want to really carefully put this along the edge of some of these buds that are opening, and highlight. I love this so much. It's so pretty. What a good flower. I may have to paint some more of these. We have so many colors too. This is how my obsessions start. Right here. With butterflies, bird nests, might be a new obsession. Painting foxglove. Don't know. I just know I really like how this is turning out. All right, so just looking at this, seeing where that fold is happening, highlighting above it, and just looking to see where the light is shining through the flower, if there's any spots like along the edge here where it really needs like a little pop of highlight, and that's what I'm doing here. Just not all of them are going to need it. And we can kind of just dry brush in towards the center a little bit with some of this. Okay, so those three have done. These ones aren't. You can just see there's just a little bit brighter bits on the top of the folds. And it'll actually dry a little bit darker, so I'm not worried too much about going too light. And if it is too light, we can always glaze back over it and darken it back up. So we're good. Right, so I'm just dabbing off where that white kind of merges into the rest of the flower. Some of it is kind of streaking through. Okay, some of them we want to just keep it right along the edge. Do very delicate little marks. Setting the color where I want it the brightest, and then quickly pulling it in to get it to kind of just break up and dry brush the rest of it, kind of streak. This sort of how I like to do it. It's just kind of an easy way of doing it without having to blend in everything. Okay. So all of those have been done. These ones haven't been done yet. You can see it's just adding a little bit extra sparkle to them. Kind of repeating these, so not all of these are. I'm trying to kind of change it up so they're not looking too much the same because I kind of repeated the flowers. I added more flowers than is in my picture. So I kind of had to sort of use the same flower a couple times. I'm using a little bit of that mauve to push back the white in some places. Okay, almost there. One more to go. Yeah, see, I'm seeing some on the outside here too, so I need to streak some highlights on the tops of those two. Okay. I'm going to get a little bit of the magenta and glaze a little bit of the magenta on the insides of some of these. Just brighten up. And especially if you go over that white area that we just did, it'll really be bright. Here we go. Mix up the magenta. Let's see, yeah. Camel. Magenta and burnt umber. And ultramarine blue. And then maybe a little bit of burnt sienna. Let me see what this color looks like. I think that'll work. All right, so there's two steps to this. There's kind of a yellow halo, and then there's the darker color inside. So I'm going to do this light yellow that we have. Water it down a little bit. And we'll start with it. Dab in with it. Keeping it sort of in the center-ish. That comes up the sides a little bit, but mostly in the center. If you know, you can do this if you just wanted to do the dark dabs, you know, the dark little things, but kind of miss there is sort of this halo thing happening. There's these like white, it's like dark, but it's white around it, so at least I'm hoping this works. That's what I'm seeing. We'll see. Again, I've never painted one of these before, so I painted one, I take that back. I have painted one, but not in like super close up. I painted a long, you know, distant one, and obviously didn't have any of this detail in it. So, okay, so those, and then we're going to get this dark color and try to shoot for sort of the center of what we just did. And there's a ton of these little freckles things, so I probably didn't put as many of the yellow as I needed, but right. And then every now and then there's a big one, so every now and then just kind of plop it down and do a bigger one. I think this is working. We'll see. Find those white dots that we just did and kind of go over them. So there's a little bit of a halo around them. And then pepper in. Yeah, I kind of wish they were a little bit lighter on the inside. I'd have gone too dark. You only know until you try, so might do them a little bit different next time if I do them again. Leave a little bit more white. So these are a little bit more dramatic looking. But we're getting the effect. Kind of teeny tiny ones along the sides. And then this middle part gets kind of some bigger ones. And then it tapers off again with tiny, tiny ones. Just using the very tip of my brush here to do little bitty dots. Oh, it's working. I think it's working. What do you think?
I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm actually just waiting for Stickman. He's
Hurried up already.
Henny.
Are you done with the flowers yet?
Almost. Almost done. And you could do these and kind of dab off too, you know. We can also highlight back over them if we decide, you know, that they're too dark or something. You could go back in and highlight, dry brush a little highlight over them in places. Getting some lighter color. Just going to kind of run it through just a few of them. A little bit better, just a little. And then we can go back in again and dab back over some of the ones that we want a little bit brighter. Okay. I like it. Just softening all of that off. It was a little too much. Okay. All right, I think I'm pretty happy with that. I'll call that good for today. Sign it and get on to some Stickman.
But first,
Ooh. Super chat. Nice.
Got a super
Awesome.
chat. Yeah.
Yay.
We mentioned Stickman and our friend Cuddly.
Who?
Cuddly, Cindy.
Cuddly. Thank
She
you.
donated to us and says, yeah, Stickman.
Oh. Well, shoot, if I'd
So,
known.
yeah, exactly.
I could have been doing Stickman all along.
I know. Let's see if this is going to work here.
The
Okay.
reason I stopped doing Stickman is because we were doing it when Mark would take the painting back to dry. And then when they would show the preview of my video, you know how they like have the little preview window playing sometimes on some videos? It always was Stickman.
because they knew it was the best.
I was like, what the? It didn't show any of the painting. It just would show me doing Stickman. I mean, like 90% of the previews were Stickman. I'm like, okay, well. And then we moved it to the end, and then I would forget. So we're gonna try not to forget. So here's our finished painting. I'm gonna zoom in real tight here so you can get a good, like, final look at all of it. Our little bird. I love how he turned out.
Yeah, he can
And
turn
then
out really well.
flowers. Yay. Okay. All right, so Stickman. I'm going to zoom in here. So obviously Stickman needs to be holding our flowers.
Ooh, with the foxglove.
Yeah. Be holding a big foxglove. This is as good as it gets, guys, on our channel here.
This is the best. This is why our channel blew up early on, because of Stickman.
Yes. So 5-minute sketch. No, 2-minute, 2-second sketch. I don't know.
And there is video on this channel on how to do Stickman. So
That is true.
if you're wondering, you need to go
That's
check
not a
that
lie.
out.
He's not joking.
There's really there. So there's a tutorial, no traceable, but there's a tutorial.
Okay. Our little bird.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Well, he's all right.
I
So
know.
there's our
That's
Stickman
awesome.
number 1.
So show them the histories.
Ah, yes. Okay. So here's, I'm trying to remember which one started it all. I want to say it was this one.
Yeah, I think so.
And we would add, we obviously painted a fox, something with a sweater, an American flag, some sort of tree. That's the boho antlers right
Oh
there.
yeah.
I don't know where the red glasses were probably our
The fox.
Fox.
The fox
Oh,
with
that's
the
right.
glasses,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the fox glasses. Yeah, that makes sense. That one looks very inappropriate.
We'll move on from that one.
Yeah. So obviously painted a pig and a deer and some Eiffel Tower action.
And the girl in the black dress.
Black dress. Yeah.
Sunflower.
Not sure what. Oh, that's a paintbrush flower. So, yeah, it's like a history
yeah.
of our channel.
Yep. Whatever we're painting that
But,
day.
yeah, whatever we painted. So that one, I have no idea. Some blossoms.
Jellyfish, I
There's
see.
a lady or a
The cat.
cat, black cat, the hummingbird.
Whale tail.
Oh, I know him. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's the rooster.
And the whale tail there on the bottom.
Yeah, the whale tail. Yeah. That's the finger painted. I actually used my finger on that, obviously. There's a peony, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
This might have been, maybe this was the first one. This is a mermaid. She's got the coconut shell bra on and the red shoes. It is pretty funny. So,
So
they turn out to have oh, there's a pirate one. I don't remember. Painted pirate. Did we do a ship? I can't remember.
I don't
I'm not sure
remember.
why he's got a pirate cap on. There's a boot and a birdhouse.
the penguin and the bridge. Oh yeah. Hay
penguin.
bales.
Yeah, the penguin.
So anyways, it's something fun to do.
Yeah, super fun. Super silly. Oh, dolphin. Yeah. So, yeah, it is like a little mini history of our channel. They're
all the paintings and
terrible art.
But still,
It's still really fun.
it's fun.
Fun and silly. So, yes. So we're back by popular demand. Here we go.
Yeah.
We got our new...
A fan favorite.
I'm going to put the date on it so that we don't forget
When we started it.
when we started it, because June...
No, July.
Oh, July. That's right. 2024. All right. And then we'll put to whatever.
Yep.
All right. Because we were saying none of these are dated, so we just have to kind of guess when they are. I don't know, but all right. So we're putting that off to the side there. We'll have our new
The real
Stickman.
painting.
So going again.
So
right.
Carol reminded us in chat that for the Patreon supporters that get the extra video, it's on Wednesday, tomorrow.
Yes, our bonus video or our challenge video that normally is we're
On
working
Thursdays.
on octopus
Yep.
right now, octopi, I should say. Octopuses,
Octopies.
they're coming along really well. So we got at least 2 more weeks on this to finish. Got a big octopus right here. This one's mostly done. And then we got another little blue ringed one down here. But this is our Thursday, normally on Thursdays. So we're going to do it tomorrow for the 4th of July holiday since we're going to be wanting to go out of town. And so we're moving it up to tomorrow. So we'll be painting on that for a couple hours tomorrow. If you're part of my $15 level, challenge level on Patreon, it gives you access to that and all of our previous challenge videos. I'm trying to
Dozens
remember
and
what we
dozens
painted
and
last
dozens.
month, but you've got, well, that's a bonus video, so that's one, the $5 level, but these will be working on our animals of Europe after the octopus. So this is Australia, North America, South America, Asia, and Africa. So we're almost done with our animals. This is literally a 4-year project. So we do about 2 a year. So they could take a long time, but they are well worth it. Really fun project. So we do stuff like this with the $15 level. Much more in-depth painting tutorials, much more advanced lessons, and
You
yeah,
finished up the
have a lot of fun.
butterflies.
Take our time with them. Do it over several weeks. So, oh yeah, and I just finished that huge butterfly one.
That's the one that you did.
Yeah, that one was awesome. Awesome. All right, I think I am going to splatter on here. I wasn't going to at first, but I think I'm, well, I don't know. What do you think? Yay, nay?
Yeah.
No? Maybe
But
not.
also, right now, also, the traceables are available currently at the $5 level. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So-
And that's not changing. So the bonus videos will be moving to the challenge level after the end of
February or something like
Yeah, in
that.
February.
Yep.
Just,
And thank you for all the supporters on Patreon. You guys are amazing.
yes. You
Very
have
grateful for everybody.
literally, and you have help us keep these videos, help us keep being able to do this, because we do not make a lot on YouTube at all. So it helps it make it so that we can keep doing the YouTube stuff and doing all these fun projects that we wouldn't get to do otherwise. So, all right, there we go. That's fun. I liked it. Just a few little splatters. Tried not to get it on the flower or the bird too much, but just add another little level of detail back there. All right, thank you guys so much for watching today. Hope you really enjoyed this one. Give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and come back. We'll be doing this again next Tuesday. We're painting a landscape, I think. So our schedule is out now for July, if you want to check that out on all my social medias, and there's links down in the description to Patreon and my website where you can sign up for my newsletter and find out about our Etsy sale coming up, and get a free color chart. And what else? Oh, Amazon links.
Yeah, Amazon Prime Day is coming up.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're planning on buying through Amazon Prime, we've got a link down in the description that has all of our art supply lists. And even if you don't use our lists, if you just go to Amazon through our link, it helps give us a little kickback to our channel. It's very helpful. So thank you so much. And yeah, you can check out all the materials list on Blick and Amazon. I have listed all the stuff that I use in my videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.